Hello everyone. There's always news like that all over the place. Oh my God, the Skyway Bridge is a huge bridge linking Bradenton, Florida, across to St. Petersburg, Florida. And it used to be two separate bridges, one going north, of course, and one coming south. And then a large ship here, I can't remember how many years ago, been a lot of years ago, ran into one of the bridges, and Greyhound bus, all kinds of buses went up. And I can't, the height of that bridge is a couple 100 feet at least, I think. It's well over 100 feet high. It's real high, real high. And it was a nightmare when it was hit, so a brand new one was built. And people jump off of it, try to commit suicide all the time and stuff. But to throw your 5-year-old daughter off a bridge, God, what is this? A place collecting bad news? Oh, this. Keep up the great work, Doc. Love your spirit. What's up with my toenails? Oh, short and sweet. I bumped one once and they went into this. Jeff. Hey, Jeff. Yuck. Yuck toenails. Looks like fungal, man.
I take your keys. I'm not going to stay here for 2 hours.
I'm just going to do an hour.
Well, I'm not staying for an hour.
Okay.
All set. She's working on them now. I'm just going to email them.
Excellent, excellent. Can you make me about 6 copies each?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah, a little bit of a fungal nail there. What's your other toenails look like? You know, good example of lymphatic and fungus mix. Do you ever see that little commercial for Lamisil where that little fungi opens up the toenail and jumps in and they're playing in the goop? How interesting a pharmaceutical company would have a cartoon type commercial showing that. So you know that they weren't thinking of blood, because that wouldn't be blood that little babies were playing in. It would be the lymphatic system. Knowing a sewer system has fermentation and putrefaction always involved in it, and the decay, because we realize we are an atom user, so we, in construction of anything, requires atoms, but what happens when all the atoms are being used, which is what, at any given moment, you can look around, all the atoms are being used. So that's why you have birth, life, and death here. So you have new life cycling along. I'd get into my lymph system, Jeff, a lot more. I'd be on Parasite M, probably a dropper and a half full for at least a bottle or two. Thanks. Thanks. I'll come back in an hour and a half. And I'd probably take the Parasite M, go after the lymphatics, the kidneys, get your lymph moving and filtering. You know, it might be interesting to see if you have any other symptoms on that side of the body. What is this, left foot? If you have any symptoms, and other symptoms that show you that kidney is just not filtering like it should yet. So I do the Parasite M for a couple of bottles. At the same time, I'm hitting my lymphs, what I'd be doing. You know, unless you have some type of other chemicals coming out of that toe. I fell off a telephone pole a lot of years ago. Landed right on my knee and broke it. And what they tell you not to do when you fall off a telephone pole is to grab it. And of course, that's the first thing you try to do. But I was on a ladder. I wasn't on my hooks. And so I grabbed, trying to hold my ladder and me to the pole. And I got my whole hand here just full of creosote splinters. And they were coming out. My surgeon went and cleaned it up for me. But I had creosote splinters coming out of my fingernails for years. And your body's always trying to get rid of that which it doesn't want. So when you look at symptomology a lot, you'll see that the symptoms are generally expectoration symptoms. Symptoms where the body's trying to get rid of. Unless you're locked where you just can't. Then it's the raging burn of the tissue. This is Judy. Forgive me if I have commented on this topic, Dr. Morse. If you have commented, what's your opinion concerning the popular liver and gallbladder cleanse? I've already done it. Well, I don't know about the popular one. I don't believe in consuming salt water at all. I think that's a serious problem, because salt, depends what type of salt, of course, And I'm sure if we were talking about Celtic, real salt, Himalayan salt, better maybe. But when you get that inorganic, in my opinion, you're really trying to consume rocks that the body has to break up and try to use. And the electrical exchange of these minerals at these levels are low. You know, when you look at salts and how plants take in the minerals, convert to salts, and how the fruits change all this, by the time you get it to the fruit level, it's so refined that your body can digest it well, absorb it well, utilize it well, and it's empowered with electricity. Not so much as you go down toward the elements. You know, the further elemental you get, the less you see that, the more mundane. It would be like having an out-of-body experience going back into lower forms of life. And I don't mean lower as opposed to higher. That's a wrong way of, but in what we might dub as lower forms of life in terms of plant, animal, that sort of thing, not meaning any negative about lower, but time is much slower. So to a weed that you see growing in your garden, by the time they get 6 inches, 8 inches, it feels an infinite time, because it's just time is still different. They're more in the now, yes, less mental, so more consciousness, so to speak, as opposed to thought-driven activities and stuff like that. So it's interesting, the different time differentiations of the different species in terms of how they perceive time. And it gets real claustrophobic. If you go back out of the body and you have a spiritual being that can take you back into those, or you go into the Akashic record areas, you'll see how you feel doing that. Interesting stuff here. But we use olive oil, of course, or some type of oil, but olive oil has been the most commonly used. I use grapefruit juice instead of lemon juice. It's a little less nausea. And for me, I always get a few slices of apple just so I can take a little bit of apple juice with that. Not much, just a little bit to help nausea. And, you know, some people chug. I wouldn't, because I've seen a lot of people chug and throw it up. So, you know, I just try to work that down. I forget, what is it, a half a cup or a cup of oil? I can't remember. But a lot of them are using the salt water with it. Disagree with that. Do not buy into that one. Don't need to do that one. And magnesium citrate. We had some South Africans giving themselves a liver flush with magnesium citrate and other things every month. And it's like, no, because of course, magnesium might be better in the terms of spasm, but how do you get stones out like that? You have to spasm the liver. And that much oil, of course, is going to cause a spasm of the gallbladder and liver. And that's how you eject the stones. It's not like you're creating a gooey slide and they're just sliding out. You're spazzing them out. And that's where you have to be careful. If you have cirrhosis or liver cancer, I would wait and get them out how you would normally, by alkalizing. Because remember, stones form in an acidic, dehydrated medium. How you hydrate and break apart stones is going to be a base or alkaline medium. It's just chemistry. But that chemistry should be understood by everyone because it's simple and it's easy to observe. And you can see that in all walks of life, what happens when you heat and cook, and you know, you see the coagulation. Excuse me. So, I don't know if the popular one, I think, uses the salt water. I just don't agree with that. You can get them quite out fine. Now, we have a product from, let's see, that's one of the labs, but it's phosphate liquid, and it does tend to break up stones. And so we use that phosphate liquid. I'd say we start about 2 weeks before the flush. We put you on that. We put you on fruits, of course, because that starts to loosen up and dissolve and start to move things. And then the flush is easy and nice. If you go someone that is just jumping into a flush from a standard diet, I wouldn't. I think their time is not going to be good. You want to clean your bowels out. You want to have them clean nice. You want to be sure you're moving well, too. And that sort of thing. You wouldn't hurt to take a stomach and bowel number 2 or something afterwards to make sure everything comes out okay. and do that. As far as frequency, I'd be real careful about frequency because you really don't need to overdo it. If you do 1 or 2 at the most, and then let your diet and everything else clean up the job, you're in good shape. But those with liver problems wouldn't be spasming my liver too much. I remember a lady once that had cirrhosis of the liver real bad, and I was bringing her back. She was near death. I was pulling her back, pulling her back, pulling her back, pulling her back. And then I thought it's time because she was full of stones. And of course, your liver gets full of stones too. So I flushed her liver gallbladder with that simple liver gallbladder flush, and she got pieces of liver out of her. And it was scary. What? So this is you learn. You learn sometimes the hard way. So it's enough to say, be gentle on yourself. You don't have to go into radical levels to get the body to respond. It's a simple matter of taking time to hydrate interstitially. That interstitial means around the cells. Remember, you have spaces around all your cells which have the fluids that take care of them. Interstitial fluid is what you see in a pimple. And you see just a little blood and mostly pus. And that's how you see the systems. The blood system is a minor system and the lymph system is a major system. It's not the other way around. And in allopathy, we treat blood as a major system, and it isn't. Both kills you. Blood will kill you quicker, no question, but both will kill you. The other is just a long, painful death, the lymphatic system. Not good. And so then you have to say, St. Peter, I died on my own sewage. Christy. Dearest Dr. Robert, dearest Christy, I want to thank you from the bottom of for being such a, thanks, honey. I appreciate that. I wasn't sure whether you're going to kick me or hit me. Thanks, honey. I appreciate that very much. I'm trying. I have been walking with this intense feeling and yearning in my heart to reach out to people. You know, that's that God force in you, honey. That's that God force saying, you know what? I can't hold, I have to give. Because when I give, I get. You know, when you hold, you bottle up and you dam up and you get, it changes you and warfs you. When you start opening up, I had a nice consult with a YouTuber last night, and this gentleman is doing meditation now, and he admits he's an A-type. He's just right there, and and now he started meditating and opening up and going through some emotional detoxes, and I could see the light beaming from his eyes now. Such a difference between using your mind and being soul, being conscious. And it's just, the light starts pouring out of you, and it's fun stuff, guys. Fun stuff. And it just really turns you into a great spiritual being of love and divinity. It's great stuff. So that's what it sounds like to you, that your heart is going, I must give of myself because that's why I'm here. When you get those kind of nudges, you can plan those are coming from the divine. And therefore you act with that, because giving is how you get. Well-known little secret. I have this knowing that my life purpose is to be a healer and to help and lead others to the light. Oh my God, that's perfect, sweetheart. I am currently a student of homeopathic medicine in South Africa, but I have opened my eyes to all natural and ancient forms of healing and have completely adopted the law of fruits lifestyle. Now, having a homeopathic background is pretty good, though, because I've been privy to know some great homeopathists. And when you get a homeopathist that knows what they're doing, they can give you the right treatment for the right problem. That's in stat situations. And a stat situation means immediate emergency. You know, that can help, especially with the natural ones. Part of homeopathy I don't like was when I went down with quinine poisoning. The antidote, of course, is minute frequencies of quinine, but my body responded bad. So, and I just don't believe in developing immunity from that sort of thing. When you have gnarly chemistry in you, let your body work to get it out. You know, but having that. So whatever modality you're in, if you're a chiropractor, this just makes your reputation soar. I've taken a lot of chiropractors in my life and sent their reputation out the roof. If you can cure people from their problems, not from their diseases, that's medical world, from their problems, from their health problems, from what they've created. Remember this book? Remember this book? I Gave Myself Cancer. Very, very greatly put. I can't even say it was greatly put. And this is the message we need to give the folk is, look, we're creating our own stuff. They're brainwashing us. We have to turn around and protect ourselves from this. You know, yeah, and governments are just people too. So this world is meant to be some degree unconscious. So there's no judgment. Sometimes I get a little crazy, but there's no judgment on these souls because all of us are unconscious at some level or another. You know, so you can't judge with that. But sometimes you have to bring a little aggressive energy into places to wake things up. You know, sometimes the sleeping won't wake unless there's a jolt or a nudge. You ever notice sometimes it's hard for you to change if something doesn't smack you? It smacked me a lot. You know, that's how you learn, but that's how, as you get age, you can help others. I've been there, done it. How many times? You know, that's the experience, and you can't judge someone with that. It's those that don't have experiences that tout information as if they did. That's the ones you want to be careful with. Completely adopt the raw fruit lifestyle. I know our fruit lifestyle. I remember I had this lad in here yesterday. He told me a bunch of things he was doing, snowboarding and all kinds, just on fruit. And he said, I can't believe it. You know, and it's what I've been telling you guys. You're going to enter zones where it defies all logic about calories and all things that you've been taught. Especially you athletes. I'm telling you, you'll get some levels just on fruit. You're going to be going whoosh right around your opponents because you've removed the obstructions to energy. And the energy now is coming direct from the cell, and then from the cell, from your consciousness. And there is no greater power, and there's no off and on to that power. That's the problem. The off and on is you have to find a balance with food now the opposite way. You already know what's good for you, but sometimes you use a little cooked soup or a little of this just for a state of balance. If you are not used to that as a practitioner, please take that in consideration, especially when you're working with, say, a cancer case or a case that's full of acids and tumors. You might be a little while, and they can get ratted out, especially if you have to jump them right into a fruit diet because they don't have long to live. So you give them a little something once in a while just to bring their emotional and everything into balance. Who cares? Who cares? You know what I mean? We do the same thing. I do the same thing. Who cares? This physical body is not eternal. This physical body is not you. This physical body is simply your vehicle that you're driving around on this rock called planet Earth. You want it to work for you. You want it to be healthy because it's not good when you don't feel good. And the more in pain you are, it pulls you down spiritually. So yeah, you want a nice car. And that's what this is about. And nice cars, nice bodies, helps you as soul to be free. Free from pain, free from all types of things. You just feel free. And when all the bodies are healthy, the mind is under control, the emotions are under control, and you're in control. Love it. Only way to be. I know that I shouldn't be waiting until I graduate to start helping people, but self-doubt has been a really big obstacle for me. And you know, sweetheart, I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people do have that. And a lot of people gauge this field with the medical field. No. That field is a totally distinctly different field. If you look at the health field, we've got homeopathy, we've got naturopathy, we've got chiropractics, we've got qigong, we've got, you name it, massage, name it, colon therapy. We've got all kinds of things that make you feel good and get you well. Over here separately, though, is a whole raging modality that uses toxic chemicals that treats disease symptoms that they've set up for themselves. So what they try to do is, I mean, we've been over this many times, how you look at the ass end of the donkey. So when you see symptoms, you have to go back and ask yourself, what's the causative factor in chemistry and physics that are causing? Because these are the two main sciences that drive nature, that drive life. And energy and magnetics drive chemistry. And what drives energy? Consciousness. And that's what quantum physics, remember, is discovering, that energy has intelligence. Whoa, what a stretch for the average person to understand that energy has consciousness. But I think the average person can understand that more than the scientist, because sometimes when you're a scientist, you're so educated, so intellectual, that gets in your way of seeing truth. That's where you have to be careful at a certain level of education, that you keep detached from what they're trying to feed you and what these books are saying, realizing these are people's viewpoints. And keep in mind when you're studying, you students, when you get into theories, because that's when you break away from actualities. And I like to keep with actualities. It's nice to have a theory, this, it could be this, it could be that. But when you take a theory and you drive it in like a spike and it says this is reality, no. That's the problem with intellectualism. We saw that with the earth is flat. Remember that? There was a lot of theories way back in 1800 that was, people were going to jail for having radical theories back then. Okay, but listen, don't let anything bother you. You all have the simple knowledge of wellness. It's all you need. You don't have to go to years to school. There's no big intellectualism here. That's the beauty of it. You have to realize not everything needs to go to school. Not everyone has to have an education to learn how to be healthy. Are you kidding? That's your right. The only reason we're unhealthy is those people that went to school thought they knew better. Look at the American Dietetics Association, and they don't even know chemistry or physics. And yet they're dictating to our children and in hospitals what you should be eating. It's way out of balance here. Thank God for Michelle Obama throwing a little good stuff in there and saying, hey, you got to start thinking healthy. But she's getting a lot of resistance from that already. They kind of hit her on that. And it's like, no, she's right. Health, essential. So I'm proud of her for standing up for that. I want to know that it is your videos that have helped me to realize that I am doing myself and the world a big injustice by not following the calling and absolute faith. Well, sweetheart, don't give that a thought. Don't give yourself any type of self-doubt or any type of thing from that. You have to go with your heart, and when you're ready, you'll go out there. And just know that when you're truly ready, all the doors will open for you. And that's what I'm saying. If you kick back from the mind and just spend more time just hanging out and observing and watching and being conscious and watching from consciousness as opposed to thinking, boy, your world is going to change incredibly so. I mean, this is the doorway, guys, to the heavens. And this is good stuff. Don't take anything to yourself. When you're ready, sweetheart, the doors will open. And the more of us that work together as one, the better, because we are curing people right and left, everywhere around the world. It's amazing. There's some that's hard, yes, absolutely. Nobody said this was easy. I've never said this was easy. Sometimes I do comment that, that's an easy one, that sort of thing. Only when you realize what difficult cases we're working with. Some cases are a piece of cake, and I don't mean to be nonchalant and not appreciative or anything like that of the case. It's just that some of the cases we've had to work on and bring back to life, other cases are much easier. So some cases we're working all the time trying to bring them back. And don't ever feel that I lessen anything. It's just that some people have an easier way to go than others, for sure. Some are really steeped in bad karma, really have to work themselves out of this. But you have the opportunity to do it. That's the point. And you want to do it, because either that or enjoy the view here, because you might be seeing that for a while. There are no words to explain the renaissance I feel with your energy and your... Oh, thanks, sweetheart. Man, you're a good soul, honey. I'll be able to sit down with you for a session of soul feeding. Love it. Thank you again. Appreciate it. Well, love you, sweetheart. Love you bunch. Thanks so much. That's a love right there. That's a nice lady. And she's awful beautiful, too. I can recognize beauty. Thanks, sweetheart. That was nice. That's what we're all here to do, is help each other to grow and to learn and to open up. It's the fun of it. You know, we have to realize we got to have fun. I was in the Social Security office this morning, and the cop sitting there, he was so unhappy, so constipated. I just wanted to walk up and say, hey, you need to change your diet and clean yourself out, because I can see you're sick, you're not happy, you're brutal to others, you were taking your job way too serious as a cop. People don't need to be policed. I have spent thousands of dollars on supplements, nutritionists, gym memberships, home gym equipment, chiropractors, vegetable produce, grass-fed beef, free-range chicken, eggs and chickens, and yet I am ill and in pain. Isn't that sad? That's why I do this. That's sad. That's why chiropractors are probably my closest friends, because I've been around them for years, and me and a chiropractic friend, another out-of-body traveler, we had classes together for years, and so I just kind of have a little special kin with chiropractors, but they're not meant to be healers. They're chiropractors. They're incredible at the back and fixing that. And if you get the kinesiologists, they're even better still. And then if you get those that know how to detox you properly and everything, they're even the gyms. That's what I'm saying. When you're in a modality like a chiropractor or a massage therapist or an acupuncturist, you've got some, even a qigong, so you've got tools up and above other practitioners that you can use to help people. Excuse me again. You've got great tools. So when you add this to your already knowledge, it's just great stuff, because then you can help your clients even better. So I think it's just icing on the cake. I bought a juicer a few weeks ago. Should I be juicing fruit or eating it? Either one. I don't care. I'll say this. If you're holding water and you're edemic, don't juice it. Because remember this, and we try to call our practitioners or those that are working with people when we see things going on like too much water consumption and stuff like this. Because I want to tell you guys, when you're bloated and you're holding water, you never want to give more water. It does not hydrate, and you could send them to their death. You have to be careful. When you're holding water, if you add more water, you can cause congestive heart failure, pulmonary edema. I told you in another video how a medical doctor killed an ALS client that we have on video, how we brought her back from a hard body wrapped like this, chin growing to her shoulder, how we saw her unwind. We have that on film. And what happened to her, what the medical doctor ordered the nursing home to do to her that killed her. And you can't take water when you're already highly acidic and holding water. Too much water will drown you. And that's just what he did. And it's a way to kill somebody without anybody knowing it. But is that what we're about? I don't think so. So be real careful, about things like this. But other than that, I don't care how you do it. If you like juicing or do both, I don't care. But it's nice to have fiber in the bowels. So I always like eating it naturally. Just be natural about it and eat it. Because there's no laws written on the wall or in a book that you have to follow. But I'm just saying what we've learned through the years is that too much, especially with lung cancers and things like this, going to have yourself lungs aspirated every so often is not fun. And of course, losing your breathing because your lungs are full of fluid, not fun either. So I'm saying there's some things as a practitioner you want to be watchful for. And that is too much water in a highly edemic case, because when the kidneys go down, you see what's happening. So you have to reinstate kidney function, adrenal function, just like you guys know, just like we've been teaching through these videos. And get them on fruits, or even if some people, it's like this one girl I told you, she gains weight just taking a shower, she can gain 5 to 10 pounds. That's scary. That's an extremely dehydrated case, is when you can gain weight taking a shower. Scary stuff. So it shows the extreme dehydration of the client. And of course that leads you right into kidney and adrenal failure. And that's what you want to work on. I live in the mountains of Colorado. Uh-oh. Well, I just talked to someone up in Colorado too, and that's where we have to be careful. where we have harsh winters. There is no naturally grown fruit during this time of year, but I can go to a grocery store, and what you're going to have to do and bundle up. I'd get the heel all tea and start warming myself up with it. You don't have to drink lots of it. Sip on it. Keep yourself warm with teas. If you have to, at night, do a vegetable soup, and all through the day, you're doing your fruits, berries, and melons. I mean, when you get in these situations, and you're in this much pain and stuff, you still got to do this. If you're in a lot of pain, stay away from the citruses. The problem is, this is when the citruses are in. Now, if you can get some really ripe oranges up there in Colorado like that, you've got Texas right there, and you got California right there. So I don't know, if you can get some good ripe oranges and see how it does with your pain. Eat a little in the morning and see if it makes you feel better or not. If you get good ripe oranges, it should help pull the pain out. Some food can exacerbate pain, though. Watermelon can exacerbate pain sometimes. And it's just watermelon. Color of it. Look at the color of it. It's red. Red is aggressive. Right? Think about why fruits have colors to them and what colors do to you. Because color therapy is very real. I created the Iridology and Color Therapy Institute years ago. And we had a lot of fun for a while, playing with colors and prisms and stuff like that. What fruits do you suggest? Well, you're probably going to get the best fruit you're going to get is the fruit that I want to highly recommend. That's going to be grapes. You're probably going to get, in looking at your fruit availability, you got bananas, which are not well detoxifiers, but you can eat them any time of the year and they're going to be full of nutrition, especially if you let them ripen properly. Remember, bananas are the only fruit that ripens nutritively after it's picked. Everything else just ferments to make you think it's ripening, but it's actually fermenting. Some of you fermenter eaters, you could like that, of course. But grapes, grapes, grapes. I put myself on a little grape fast if you're in this much pain. But remember, check your urine. You've got to get your kidneys filtering. And if you're in pain, which system in your body, which fluid, I'll be more specific, which fluid-based system in your body would be the causer of pain? Blood or lymph? Lymph. Why? Because lymph deals with the what side of chemistry? Acid side of chemistry. Where do acids come from in the body? From 100 trillion cells. Acids are the byproducts of all these cycles, like the Krebs cycles and stuff. These are the byproducts of oxidation, ionization, metabolism, like you say, respiration. Look at the byproducts from these processes. They're acids. So how does a body get rid of and deal with the side of chemistry that can hurt you? You have to have a system. You can't dump acids in the blood. That's what people have to understand. You can't over-acidify the blood. Blood 7.4. It is claimed that acidosis occurs at 7.2. I don't know if I agree with that, but it's enough to say that people have died down in the low 7s, I think. Now you have to be careful. That blood pH is vital. So you have to be careful with that sort of thing. But that's how simple it is. And when you're in pain, it's your lymphatic system. And where's your lymphatic system? How does your body get rid of these wastes? Because when you think of when something is producing waste, obviously as a mechanic or as an architect, you're going to also figure out how the waste can be removed, because building up of waste never was a good thing. In your car motor, or in your house, or in an electrical plant, or in a silo, there is nothing good can happen but gas and explosions and everything else. Nothing good. So it's important that the body gets rid of these. So the question, how does my body get rid of them? Liver? The liver doesn't eliminate to the outside world. The liver's a chemical factory. So that takes us where? Well, we sweat, we pee, and we poop. Hello? We also sneeze, cough, those sort of things when we're full of stuff that can't go out the other way. Your body's going to try to find some way to get it out. Ooze it out vaginally, ooze it out the ears, ooze it out the mouth, ooze it out the nose, ooze it out the belly button. Got to get it out, And that's where pharmaceuticals came in and became suppressants. Like Arabid, a lot of the inhalers, cancer-causing, suppressants. You can have an antispasmodic effect, meaning relaxing muscles and tightness, and have expectoration at the same time. And that's the key. Medical doctors need to learn that. That's where you're going to go to the herbal antispasmodic that'll also allow for expectoration, because you want them to breathe, but you want them to also get rid of that which is blocking and clogging, the mucus. And if it is a COPD in terms of asthma up, then you got to deal with the adrenals and the neurological connection to that issue. I'm sick of being in pain and the slow continual weight gain. Yeah, and that tell you your adrenals are down, your kidneys are down, honey, and you really got to deal with this. You know, or you just can't stop this. And pain is a warning for what's to come. Pain is not just what there's worse to come. And so you want to get this pain out of there. And the only way to get pain out is to get what causes pain out, which is obvious. And what causes pain is the acid side of chemistry, which causes inflammation. Inflammation isn't the problem. Acids are the problem. And how you get rid of acids is through the lymphatic system, which is a lipid-based system, a cholesterol-based system to fight acids. Water solubles, you know, basic. We talked about that on the last video. How many females does it take to bring down a man? Look at it in chemistry. How many base chemistries, how much base chemistry does it take to neutralize an acid? Same thing. And that's the gig you're in. It's as simple as a pie. You can chase rainbows and pots of gold and diseases and things like that, or you can understand pure chemistry and physics and what's going on there. What have you been consuming and putting in and on your body? And what type of chemistry is it? And what type of chemistry does your body actually require? Okay, but you want to get out of pain. This is your lymph system, and your doorways are closed for the lymph system, or you wouldn't be in pain. You wouldn't have swelling. You wouldn't have tumors. So there's a blockage. The blockage is kidneys, and generally the adrenals are the culprit, although kidneys in a lot of people now are going down with them. So you got to fix the adrenals and the kidneys, and that's essential. Remember the filtration and the importance of looking at your urine to see sediment in it. This is vital stuff, because if you're not filtering, your pain is going to be around for a while. I'd also suggest that you do some lipids. Either if you're in Colorado, you've got hemp oil, I'm sure. You can do hemp oil, any oil, evening primrose oil, flaxseed oil. You might want to add a little oil, maybe 500 IUs or whatever, twice a day. Might help you. That would also be suggestive. You're probably malabsorbed and not even absorbing your fatty acids from your foods, which would be antacids as well, helping you with that pain. Your adrenal steroids should be helping you with that pain. You have cortisol, progesterone. You have a lot of cholesterol-based corticosteroids that can be used to fight acids. But your body can't do it. And it's probably because your lymph highway is blocked. You got to open it up, because there is no remedy from pain from any of these modalities and these things you did. Matter of fact, you did a lot of things here to exacerbate the pain. I mean, let's take a look at this. Grass-fed beef. Yeah, anybody that's in pain, all right? And I don't mean chronic systemic pain that way. But when let's say that you have a kidney and it's in pain, all right? Go on a little fruit and vegetable diet, a little fruit and berry diet here for a few days and take some herbs. That pain will come out of there. And then go get you a big steak and go eat it. And you tell me what happens to your pain levels that you almost got out of yourself. What happens to that? Protein exacerbates pain because protein is acidic. And free-range chicken the same way, eggs the same way, and also very constipating. Meat's very constipating, but eggs are extremely constipating. So you were doing a lot of things you just didn't know. Plus, if you're out there exercising and working in the gym and you're not filtering, your acids are building and building and building. Look at some of these poor athletes who were never told that, who now suffer from extreme RA. Their joints are gone. Their kidneys are gone. I tell you, You can get them back, but you have to get out of that thinking, and change your way of thinking. So that's what I would do. I used to be very thin, under 100 pounds, when I had my children 30 years ago. Now I'm up to 200. Well, that's interesting, sweetheart, because, matter of fact, if you were that thin, the probability of you being malabsorbed was pretty high there. And that would explain the systemic pain, because that's the lymph system. And then, of course, your adrenals are going down, and sugar metabolism, of course, is going down, and everything else. And so, don't do starch. And in fact, if you're in pain, don't do any of those things. You want to go back to pain-free foods, foods that are alkaline-rich, that neutralize acids, which will then neutralize pain. The best pain management is to go on a raw food diet, and to maybe increase some lipids a little bit and to get the kidneys. That's the best pain management, because it won't be long and you will cure why you're in pain. And then you have no more pain ever, no matter how long it takes you. I suffer from HPPD, and my symptoms are, wow, I can't even pronounce that, and visual snow. Ugh. Do you know how to cure this? I don't even know what HPPD is. There's so many things like that out there. I don't even know what that is. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. Well, listen. Who is this? I don't see any name on here. Oh, Julia. Hey, Julia, it doesn't matter what the name is. It doesn't matter the location. You have to understand your body. Whether it's the eyes, whether it's a brain, whether it's a liver, whether it's a heart, doesn't matter. You must understand that 100% of man's concepts of diseases fall simply under acidosis in the lymph system. That can impact the blood and change the blood chemistry. That impacts everything. So 9.99% is always lymphatic. Snow, all this sort of thing, the breaking down of tissue. When the nervous system starts breaking down, you can see stars, moons, spiritual beings, and all kinds of things. They're there, and you want to see them without the right way. So whatever it is, you always know that the lymphatic system is the key system to go through to reach into your body to clean out all these problems, whether they're genetic weaknesses, whether they're inflammation and swelling, nerves, however it dictates how your visual is, whether you're MACDs, wrinkled retina, I don't care, wherever, whatever. There's only one doorway to wellness. There's only one road. Why are people afraid of that road? Yeah, you got to change your diet. But if your only fun on this earth is your foods, I feel for you. Then I would suggest you spend some time alone and start loving yourself, because there's a lot more to do than just friggin' eating. That's just something you do and go on, and you're on to other things. So we have to take so much time and training just to learning how to eat. And then we have arguments of whether fruits are over vegetables, and yet we don't look like a vegetable eater one. I mean, just go into the physiology and anatomy of all the vertebrae, and it doesn't take long for you to get it. Of course, we've had this discussion quite a bit. But if you can have an 80% fruit, berry, and melon diet and 20% vegetables, I think that's a great sustainable lifestyle. Even as 80-10-10, I don't care. Any of these things are great after you detox and fix yourself. And I'm saying after. Because if you have a little fish or chicken, who cares? If you have a little this or that, who cares? As long as you maintain a high level of raw. But that's after you fix yourself. You have to realize that you have to do a little more strict things to fix yourself than you normally would, realizing that nature uses fasting to fix its creatures. Well, wait a minute, we're part of nature too. Wait, don't leave us out. So, all I have to say to you, sweetheart, let me know more about what that is, because initials like this, there's so many things out there like that, I just can't keep track of them now. And every day, some medical doctor slaps his name on some other set of symptoms. And you're just going to see more and more and more of that. And the irony of it, it's ridiculous, because the cause is always the same. Doesn't matter location. You're going to see all the locations in the body. So depending on what factors were involved, what location of the body, that's the name it gets. Still causative the same. That's the idiocy and the irony and all this about what all our health modalities. if we all understand and work on the same page that food is a big deal, that food is chemistry and physics, that you can't sit there and say it has nothing to do with man's suffering. It has nothing to do with diseases, that's true. Because diseases are a created scenario or I don't know what you want to call them, by the AMA. They put so much. Remember, they've changed acid reflux to GERD, acid reflux disease. That way they can train them. That's fraud. You have to be careful about what's been going on the AMA. And I know a lot of good medical doctors that don't even belong to the AMA anymore. Associations can be really bad, and understand who the AMA is and how they see a patient. Remember I told you about 60 minutes. So when you have an AMA that sees a patient as a retail buyer, as a buyer, not a patient, as a buyer, we've got a problem. And you asked me to work with that. We need to all work together. But we also all need to understand what causes our problems and not send our clients into financial ruin and hurt them trying to fix them. And you can't fix them, so they're stuck on medications for a lifetime. This is not how we do it. I know a lot of you good medical doctors don't want that. You're frustrated with that. So come on and join us, and we'll show you how to cure, and your heart will soar. You'll be so happy. I've had a lot of medical doctors so happy because now they're learning what causes things, and now it all fits. And they're well trained to understand the body, so now they're learning more about how the body works. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to find more lymphatic systems yet, guys. You just watch. This is Stud Muffin. All right, Stud Muffin. Let's see what you got. Hey, Doc, I'm wondering if I, 37-year-old male, I knew you had to be in the 30s, Stud Muffin, have a baby with a woman about as unhealthy as me, pretty congested lymph-wise like everyone else, but we bring that baby up totally raw, etc. Would the baby go through healing crisis too? You betcha. Good question, man. Good question, Stud Muffin. Absolutely. Absolutely going to go through some detox, that baby is, because the baby's going to get the lymph from the mom. So that baby is definitely going to go through some healing crisis. But those are probably cold and flu-like symptoms, stuff like that, until you get the lymph system cleaned out. And then it's just going to be, as a young child like that, the reversing of genetic consciousness, the weaknesses that portrayed that way, they're going to do that real easy. That's when you see some good genetic remembering of cells. That's pretty cool. So, it's just getting the mothers online and working with that to understand that when you go on, and you can even breastfeed a baby, and the mother go raw, and the baby start detoxifying just from the foods, not just from herbs, just from the foods. So yeah, but babies are just little adults. That's why you don't talk baby talk to your babies. These are souls that get it. Realize that there's a big consciousness behind that little body, that soul trying to express through the limited ability, faculty of the mind and emotions in the physical body to tell you, to talk to you. That's just what you're doing. You as this gigantic being are trying to work through the mind and emotions and the body to communicate and enjoy the worlds at each of these levels. So you're enjoying the mind and the emotions and the physical body. You're enjoying all these bodies in your experiences. And they're so integrated that you don't even know when you're shifting from an emotional body to a mental body. When you get more awake, you do. Like shifting gears in a car. You're shifting to a whole nother level. So, good question though. Would the baby go through healing crisis too and therefore do a fair bit of crying in its infancy? Possible. It's possible. But you want to watch this because a baby shouldn't do excessive crying. Matter of fact, if you're detoxing a baby, it shouldn't be long, and smiles and happiness and peace. Peace with the baby. So if a baby's constantly crying, they might be in pain for some reason. It's hard to look at that. If you get a little quick picture of the eyes, you might have a good look at that baby. But if that baby's crying a lot, I'd definitely take a look at what the baby's eating, because a lot of times there's a lot of the foods that orthodoxy, or we'll say the alternative allopathy recommends, like this pedicure and crap like that. Constitutional right to speak my mind, but you don't feed babies unliving foods and crap like man-made proteins, high proteins, and fat mix, because the baby could have serious digestive problems. And even if it's on mother's milk, we're having a lot of babies, remember, with hepatic, liver, gallbladder, hepatic weaknesses or pancreatic weaknesses, so they're getting gas, colicky, so they're getting pain and discomfort. Poor things. I've seen that since I was raised my first boy. Didn't know any better. Baby doesn't want milk. Doesn't digest well. You pasteurize milk and you want it to digest? Where are these guys coming from? Where's the FDA coming from to demand a pasteurized milk when there's no enzymes to digest it anymore? Where do these guys come from? They don't even know health. You know, so we operate from a fear-based consciousness. That's what our government and society does, not a knowledge and a knowingness. And that's what we have to instill in people. That's why each one of you are so important to helping others when you gain knowledge and awareness. So you might want to think about it. If you have a baby crying a lot, there could be pain involved in this situation, or you're giving the wrong foods digestively and they're getting a lot of gas and bloatiness and it's causing them pain and discomfort. Matter of fact, you could feed babies fruits and they could get some gas from it. What would be the problem? If someone gets gas from eating fruit, what would be your first thought? Pancreatic. Your enzymes are low and there's no digestion there. And you're seeing fermentation or putrefaction if you're doing protein. Putrefaction, of course, being much worse. Now, if you're having fermentation in the body, who are you calling? Who are you going to call for fermentation? Fungus. Candida, fungus. Hey, Mary, let me start by saying I thank God for, oh, thanks, sweetheart. You're amazing, and I just fell in love. Thank you, sweetie. I love you, Mary. Thanks, honey. Thank you so much. I'm wondering if you can give me suggestions as to what to order for my specific case. Okay. I'm a 43-year-old female. 6 years ago, I started developing weird neuromuscular symptoms. Ugh. Knees buckled. Oh, yuck. Look at this. Knees buckled and almost fell. Difficulty swallowing with a tired, lazy tongue. Oh, whoa. That also causes difficulty talking at times. Weak and fatigued quad muscles. Just developed weak upper arms last week. Deep twitching. Symptoms 2, 3, and 4 are the chronic symptoms. No, I don't like any of these. Okay. All right, now. I'd get on the first kit. First kit, all right, because you're going to deworm yourself. You don't know whether this is a parasitic action or you have an acidic decay on the nervous system, whatever, suppression or breakdown or whatever, low calcium, blah, 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 blah. So, get a picture of your eyes and take a look at yourself. What do you got going on there? Matter of fact, you guys, we might put the questionnaire, we should have it up on the site. Go on that health questionnaire and answer those questions for yourself and see which ones you're checking yes, which will take you to the specific organs and glands that you have trouble with. All right? But you know, all right, you hit it right on the head. Definitely neuromuscular. But let's go. Who's first? Neural. So the neural obviously is at issue. Well, are we back here at the cerebellum? Because are we autonomic? Is it in the central? So, for me, I'm going to go upper circuit, brain and nerve. I'm going to start it right with the first kit. But I am going to go through the first kit because that's how I start to open up all the doors and I'm killing parasites. You don't know if you have worms, flukes, whatever. And remember, I told you a case in Lisbon, Portugal that I had, that this guy had MS-like symptoms, but I could see it progressive in my office there, but just from being in my office and going home, the guy couldn't move anymore. And it was all parasitic. I told you he was a butcher, didn't use gloves, and he was throwing up handfuls of worms when we left. 2.5 months, I think I had him driving around Lisbon. Anybody knows Lisbon? And that's from a totally debilitated state, bedridden, and parasitic. So you don't want to take any chances. You always want to follow that focus first. At the same time, you're going neurologically. You're addressing that system. You're getting upper circ to bring oxygenated blood to the head. At the same time, what system in your body brings down the cells? Well, blood and lymph, either one can bring down a cell. But blood, By the time it brings down a cell, you're dead. So it's lymph, lymph, lymph. And that's all the acids, that's all the deterioration that you go through, and you see it progressively, 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 as inflammation or acidosis spreads and burns deeper. So, I'd go in my kidneys, my adrenal glands. So I'm going, depends what your blood pressure is. If it's low, you're going to hit, say, a 400 milligram, say, New Zealander granular for the adrenals, then I'm off with the kits. 15-week, 14-week protocols, or I'll write you one. But I'm definitely going to start with the first kit. Then after that, I'm going to 2 kidneys, 2 lymphatics, 1 capsule, 1 liquid, remember? And I'm going down that road. I'm always going to stay with upper circuit brain and nerve because I don't, you know, I'm trying to address both autonomic and central. Okay, so I'm going into both of these areas. I don't know if you have brain lesions, you're developing them, but what would cause this? Acids. Okay, so what system would we be in? Would be in the lymph system again. There we are again, very simple, very straightforward. You got to detox and get that out, get that system filtering through your kidneys, and these acids will come out, and you can repair the nervous system. Using the brain and nerve 2 and upper circ, hopefully we can stop this. You might want to consider taking the antispasmodic with it. The antispasmodic will help those inner tremors, but you want to get rid of those, sweetheart. This isn't a good sign whatsoever. So now I would definitely, because it's neural, what foods are the best foods for neural? You hit it, fruits and berries and melons. Only ones for the neural. So you want to get your diet way up there, honey. Way up there. Something for your bowel, stomach and bowel. See how I designed the kits, and then copy that or go on the kits. But always stay on upper circuit, brain and nerve during your protocols. After all your videos I've listened to, oh, thank you, thank you. Oh, she did them.
Yep.
Great, great, great.
6 copies.
Yeah, a little sweet surprise for the IRS. They're going to like that. Yeah. I'm far from done with those guys. Okay, so after all your videos I've listened to, I know you've suggested lymph, kidneys, adrenals, along with a raw food diet. I'm happy to do all that, but is there anything else? Yeah. I can order to speed up the detox to rid my body of these annoying symptoms. Absolutely. What my fear is that my 14... Smart woman. You guys are getting so smart. I love you guys. I mean, this is how you think. This Mary's a good mom. This is how you think. What my fear is, my 14-year-old is complaining of the same symptoms. Jesus Christ. So, you got to go after your daughter here now. You want to take a look around, because are you environmentally getting something? Is there something in the house? Is there a neurotoxin? Because this sounds like a neurotoxic experience here. Or you're losing your lymph system. You're breaking down your nervous system through your lymph system. You got one of the two. And so take a look. Make sure you got all the pesticides away from your foods and everything, and make sure that you're not breathing in some toxins there, and there will be neurotoxins. I don't know. There are new businesses starting that's called Detox Your Home. And I know we have one up here in Sarasota or Venice that they come in and check your home for all kinds of toxins. But all I can say is you want to look at this, because this is dangerous stuff. This is very dangerous stuff. And when your 14's going through the same, now she could go through the same breakdown at 14 that you're doing right now. That would be genetics, that would make sense, and everything else. So you want to start her the same way. At the same time, double check all what's going on here, guys. Get out of the house if you have to. Take a vacation. See if the symptoms wane down from that. But you're going to have to get that out of your body and fix your body here. And your 14-year-old, too. Must do. Or, you know, I just seen what happens when these symptoms start and they don't take care of them. Not good. No. Thanks so much for time and effort. You betcha. I'm glad. And then let's go to Wellville. Definitely. Scary stuff out there, you know. There's so many neurotoxins everywhere. It's a dangerous world. You got to protect yourself. And this is how you protect yourself. You clean your medium. You clean your culturing medium, your terrain. You clean your body. You get your 2 major fluids filtering and running and keeping them clean and nice. You keep your urine flowing and filtering. You keep your stools flowing. And once you fix and repair, you'll never have a problem, because when fluids flow, the motor starts good, everything's running good. It's only when you start developing obstructions, and that generally develops from fluids, just like in a car. Bartholomew, I've noticed that I feel down after taking the adrenal glandulars. What do you think that might be? You know what? It might be your body's had enough of them. You know, sometimes muscle test yourself, my friend, on this. Get someone to muscle test yourself, you know, with your arm here or whatever, but muscle test yourself on that. But I'll tell you right off, when you feel depressed or something, I feel down, loss of energy on something, it's not your body doesn't want that anymore, right? Or at least right now. So set it to the side, come off of that. Muscle testing just to see, but I think you're going to find that your body doesn't want that right now. You can shift to the adrenal herbs now or the endocrine gland formula. That's what I would do. Sometimes, and I tell you, these formulas from New Zealand are very, very strong. My glandulars that I've used in the past have been half the strength or less. I don't believe in overdoing things like that. But I tell you, some of the people that are using these adrenal glandulars are going through emotional detoxes and then going on and getting above the game. It's great to see. So, but you can't always, and this is true with all the herbs. Sometimes there's a formula your body doesn't want anymore. You know, and so change the formula. But use muscle testing to determine that. But I can tell you about the I would stop taking that one myself. Put it to the side or give it to your mom or something. Okay, here's Noel. Hey, Noel. Thank you for your awesome videos. Thanks. I appreciate it. It's just me sitting, but I really appreciate it. We're going to kick them up, do some webinars and do some things, but I'm too busy trying to catch up with you guys. You guys are way out there. My question is regarding numbness in the fingers. Ooh, yeah. I've been getting for the last couple of years. 37 too. This person's only 37 years old and they're getting that numbness in the fingers again. And live in the UK. The numbness is brought on by slight drop in temperature. Oh, wow. No kidding. But we're not taking, let's see. I am 37 years old in the UK. The numbness is brought on by slight drop in temperature, but we're not taking Arctic conditions here. This happens even on a cool summer's day. Is this a circulation issue? I'm not overweight at all. Probably just right for my height. I also tend to get ganglion cysts on my wrists. Well, that, you know what, that's just where it sounds like it's coming from. Now, when you get numbness in your fingers, it can come to me from several places. Up here in the back, when you're stiff and tight, you can get numbness. You can lay on one side and wake up with numb hands and fingers, stuff like that. Hold your arms too much, you get numbness. If this is cutting off the blood flow or the nerve flow, more aptly the nerve flow. And it can come from the elbow when you start building up calcifications from being too acidic and working it too much when you're not filtering. Same thing with the wrist. And if you're getting ganglions from the wrist, that means you have very poor lymph flow here. And that means probably stagnation, and you're losing calcium from the joint and creating obstructions and swelling. And when you get ganglions, you're probably getting some swelling, shutting off nerve flow to the hands. So, same thing. You want to open up. You want to open up the flow of lymph. And of course, you're going to go right back to the sweetheart kidneys and adrenals and deal with those. Get your lymph system moving that way with the lymph formulas and the fruits, and start cleaning all this up. Any calcifications will dissolve away, just like scar tissue and other things. But you need to be in an alkaline-based balance. And that's the only way you can do that. It takes time. It's a lot easier to get cholesterol lipid plaquing than it does calcifications. So it's just a matter of alkalizing and let these deposits break apart and get free from you. Also, in detoxing, if it is from the neck, that'll open that up too. Make sure you go to a chiropractor and check your upper spine. Have them take a look at that. A good chiropractor could probably help you if it's coming from this side. But it's all lymph, the origin, because that's what pulls the spine out is the lymph. So when chiropractors get more understanding of the lymph and how it goes through the kidneys, they'll not only be able to put your spine and keep you in that way, they'll be able to move that lymph out at the same time as causing it, and then any herniations or compressions will have a chance to rebuild, unswell, and things like that. But I think with the ganglion, the cysts on the wrists gives a suggestion your problems are more at the wrist, but they can come from up here at the neck here. Oh, this is Derek. Hey, Derek. Thank you so much for all you do. Thanks. I appreciate that, guys. You know, keep pumping ourselves up. This is a fight. It's a fight down here for sure. I've been vegan for about 8 years. That's pretty dang good. I started using your herbs and raw about 3 years ago. That's pretty good, my friend. And have experience with almost every formula you have. Oh, wow, good. I can get feedback then. I love feedback from my formulas because there's always room for improvement if I need to. I always try to make the best formulas and feel that they're good, but I always like feedback to see where I'm at and see if they're working like I need them to work. I'm currently on all fruit and using about 8 to 10 formulas, including the ones that you recommended for chronic head pressure. Oh, chronic head pressure. Oh my God, Derek. Oh crap. Chronic fatigue, low adrenals, etc. Fab4, GI Brew, Adrenal, Heal All T, Pancreas, Spleen, Upcirc, Brain, Nerve. That's excellent. Thyroid, Pituitary. Oh, you might not need to take thyroid, pituitary. Endocrine gland. I think you're taking too much there. Thyroid, pituitary, and endocrine gland. But they're berries mainly, so they're not going to hurt you. Highly nutritive. You know, a lot of nutrition in those formulas. Antispasmodic, interesting. Several lymphatic formulas, stomach and bowel, eyes, etc. I've also tried adrenal, thyroid, and pituitary glandulars off and on over the past couple of years. That's interesting. Well, that's how you do it, though, guys. Derek is a good case to show you that this man's serious. This man is testing. This man is awake. This man is watching and observing the effects on his body. This man is a good man, and this is what you have to do, is play with this, because when you really get it, you realize, well, this is what's up. Now, what tools do we have to use that? You'll come to the same conclusion I did. The tools we have are not supplements, just like the lady before there had been on supplements all her life and still in chronic pain, because we're not addressing any specific issues. You're just taking nutrition in. This is a big deal, you know. So I like the way you think, Derek. Let me see. But I usually end with worse brain fog and terrible nervousness from them. You know what? Cut down. Oh, yeah, on the glandulars. Yeah, you know what? When you do, just shuck them, because I tell you, or put them to the side, or have someone else use them that can use them. You don't want to get rid of them because they're real good for people that need them. But you know what? Too powerful for you. Back away from those. Yep. I've also done Heal All Tea and Neti Pot. Oh, interesting. Well, you know, when you have head pressure enough, you want to take a Colt here, anything and everything. Chew on horseradish root, you know, little pieces of it, little bits of pepper, anything to start moistening and stimulating the mucosa. Not overstimulating it, but a little stimulation of the mucosa like that can get things running and going. But again, more hydration, and that's what I like what he's doing. He's hydrating to get to open the stagnation of mucus and lymph out. Or there's no remedy to head pressure other than that. I mean, that's the problem. With blood pressure, you can cut down with the kidneys and blah, 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 and relieve that. But no matter how aggressive I get, it seems nothing in my head wants to move much. Damn it. I tell you what then, cold compresses around, candle ears, about 4 candles per ear, and see if that'll help. And keep working with hydration with fruits. Might want to go on an extended lemon juice fast. Real strong astringent. See if that will help to break that loose. Try those sort of things. I've been doubled up on lymphatic herb dosages. I've done lemon juice fasting too, or long mono grape periods. Jesus Christ, and you still can't break that loose? You got sulfur in there or anything? Yeah, you see what we're up against? Trying the neurolymphatic points down your back. Work on those neurolymphatic points to open up all those lymph nodes and stuff down your back. Cut down on the lymphatics, increase the kidneys. You know, things like this that we might be pulling too hard. The kidneys aren't opened enough yet, so hit the kidneys harder and the adrenals harder and cut down on the lymphatics a little bit. Right now, the issues that I am still having trouble overcoming is head pressure that creates a constant brain fog with headaches on and on. Oh my, I feel for you, man. I'll tell you, it will break loose one of these days. It will. Fatigue and nervousness that continues throughout the day. My kidneys seem to filter okay. Oh, good. But, of course, they can be better, and I still on the formulas. Okay. Send me a picture of your ice to Chris, Derek, and Mark. Derek, Dr. Morse wants to see. And let me see what we're looking at, and note head pressure on it for me so we can take a look at that, and I'll show you what I see in your eyes. in there something else that you would recommend for someone who has studied with incorporate your methods? Yeah, work with the neural lymphatics, work with cold compresses as much as you can. That's alkalizing as much as you can. In the shower, maybe do hot and cold on the head, things like that, but particularly in with cold. You did a lot of things too to break it open. It's got to break sometime. Candle the ears and see if that'll help break that loose. I know one guy candled his ears for me and it just broke loose. Others haven't, so I don't know. You just have to keep playing, Derek. That's all I can tell you. Because this gets, you see how hard lymph is, guys? There's just so much interstitial spaces, and when it gets impacted and gets dehydrated, it just takes time to hydrate. And this guy's been working for years. So see where you go. Give me a picture of your eyes, Derek, and I'll take a look. And I love you too. And see if I can help you even deeper. Do those neural lymphatics front and back if you want. Definitely cold compresses the cerebellum. Use the ear candles there. Hell, if you have to. God, I bite my tongue, but try Mucinex. I mean, that's why Derek is just a good case of why I'm so passionate about this, because poor Derek is suffering with head pressure. And listen, there's nothing fun about that. And that's a central nervous system that controls literally everything. So there's just nothing ever good with this sort of acid pressures and stuff for anybody here. So that's why I say it's better to get on this sooner than later instead of have to deal with poor Derek, because he's really struggling to get this open. And I don't know, we've got some serious inflammatory problems in our bodies, serious acidosis problems in our bodies. And I don't know. I don't know. I only know what I know. And we just keep hitting. We keep using every technique we can find to open that up. You might try an acupuncturist or a chiropractor to shift your neck and your spine straighter. That might help with the cerebral spinal fluid. Remember, that's the lymphatic system. So maybe work with that and see if that would help too. It's possible. Possible. But definitely work on the neural lymphatic ones. If you can find a chiropractor that knows kinesiology, he could probably see if you're straight, and also maybe work with some neural lymphatics to help maybe drain that brain as well. Maybe use foot reflexology, and especially work around the toes and stuff, and see if that'll help loosen things up. Same thing with the fingers and stuff up in this area, and work the brain, work the head area, and then work down below, and see if you can start opening things up a bit. I hate to hear that. Tough cases out there. Tough cases. And it's just their bodies are so stagnant that and so dehydrated. And this is probably a younger guy. A resubmitted question. Good. Please help. I was wondering if you could please assist with a friend who is currently detoxing. 67-year-old male, 5 foot 6 inches. Diet and symptoms pre-detox. High meat and dairy, cheese eater. Drank 4 to 6 beers each night. High candida load, you know that with the beers. Always had degrees of intense skin itching, I bet. Degeneration of discs at top of spine, hate that. Resulting in strong pain consistently with times of intense stabbing pain. Some degeneration in eye, sight, and floaters. Severe sinus problems for 25 years. It's clogged up. One big ball of mucus. Poor guy. Which he took sinus medication for up to 15 years to attempt to relieve. See, that's the point of why we got to get out of this medical modality thinking. All the medical doctors come over, let's all join hands, let's get people well. Forget the AMA, forget these people that want to go in ways that don't work. Let's all join and do what works. That's what I'm saying, and people are suffering like this. And they're taking what pharmaceutical companies make for him, because he's not fixing the problem. Of course, he was eating what he was eating. Eczema all over his body, obviously, which has been treated and suppressed with pharmaceutical medication and cortisol cream for approximately 6 years on and off. See what I'm saying? These pharmaceuticals and the treatment thinking just makes these people worse. There's no working with that. It's stopping that. You don't need that. You don't need to do that. Plenty of things to help with the symptoms while you're fixing the problems. But to use treatment-based constituents that suppress is only putting people deeper into jeopardy and deeper into pain and death's door. Can't keep using them. Can't keep doing the same things like this. Occasional dandruff, you know what that is. Heavy lymph in the head area became very severe, and when he stopped dairy and started herbs, it just exploded. Yeah? You see why? I've always said this, a nice little saying, what you suppress today is your nightmare tomorrow. That's just what it is. This poor lad has done everything he was told to do by the people he respected. And look what happened. And this is one of millions. So we have to change the way we do things and see things. So what? That's life. Life is you grow and learn and change. If you get settled in and cushy, don't. Because there is nothing static about God. He has had high blood pressure, currently on medication, so you know right where the problem is. Kidneys, adrenals, lymphatics, obviously, right? It has been steady pre-detox, around 140 over 80 with meds, see? Poor sleeper, arthritis, tonsils removed in childhood, lower back injury. As a child, had measles, scarlet fever, chickenpox, mumps, problems with bedwetting as a child. Interesting, and he's only 5'6". Where am I going? You guys are too good for your own britches. Pituitary, definitely. Pituitary controls bedwetting like that, and also height and all that other stuff. So I'm going to put my money on the pituitary. When I find the pituitary, what else do I see? Chronic bowels. So that backs up here. Current protocol now on for 12 weeks. He has been filtering well and consistently since starting detox. Lucky guy. Look at some of you guys that haven't got your kidneys filtering for 6 months on this. So this is a good thing. Questionnaire indicated weakness in skin, lymphatics, thyroid, parathyroid. I'm going to say pituitary, I'm telling you. Eyes show darkness around bowel, thick skin ring, and cholesterol ring. Ooh, sorry, not able to upload pics. That's okay. You're telling me that's all you need, honey. Good reader, though. See, what I love about you guys, this individual, this is Robin, by the way, this individual knows how to read the eyes. I mean, and it's so simple. Isn't it fun to learn simple things that are so impactful? Simple things that save people's lives. Cool stuff. You guys are the future practitioners, because those people that can't change will die away. Because if you can't change, God's going to let you die away. Because I tell you, we don't control this. God does. So it's just one of those things. Or the creator, or whatever word you want to use. You know, I don't mean to, upset anybody. Initially stopping all dairy, red meat, including fruit juices daily, his skin exploded. Absolutely. And you would expect that since he'd been treating himself with cortisol and everything else. You could expect his skin to explode because he's like a stick of dynamite. It's like I'll be right there.
Okay, I'm waiting.
It's like building up with the head pressures and stuff like that. If you don't address that, explode. Yeah, this is dangerous stuff. You never suppress any symptoms of the human body. You never do unless the pain is so bad that you can take something with, but you're going to go after the pain. Why the pain? Acids, right? Excuse me. Still detoxing on my fruits and stuff myself. Was high fruit, but had to switch to just fruit in the morning and vegetable juices throughout the day. Probably a good idea. I've gone from a 1 BM per day to a regular to 2 BMs per day. Better. Reducing his meat intake 2 to 3 times per week, chicken and fish, eating fruit for breakfast and lunch. Used to have 1 slice of fruit per day, between 50 and 70% raw. Well, I tell you, you're doing good. You're doing good to get your man going. Is this your man? A friend. And you just get your man going and get yourself going. And cut down on beer intake to 1 per day. Got him to stop beer altogether for 2 weeks, but no difference for skin. Well, it's going to take a while. And the fungus is already in him. And if you're going to drink beer, you're going to have to have him live on Parasite M. Because, he's convinced that it made no difference. Well, it's not going to if he stops doing beer. That's not going to make a difference. He's got lymphatic problems. The beer has nothing to do with that. So remember, the beer has absolutely nothing to do with that. Except that it does breed fungus because you make it with yeast. So you're going to have the candida problems for sure. That's not the problem. His kidneys, his adrenals are the problems, and then the lymphatic system, and as you see, all that he's dealing with because of this. And if your friend's listening to this, friend, you got to deal with this. And I would take the time to do whatever it takes to deal with this because of the one I read before you, Derek, with the extreme head pressure. You don't want that. And that's where you're walking. And at extreme head pressure, there's no relief. So imagine extreme head pressure with pain, and there's no relief. I mean, this stuff is bad stuff. Your relief is like this. We don't want that. All right, so you want to fix yourself. And this severe sinus problems, I mean, you're going to lose your eyesight. You're going to lose you can get brain tumors. I mean, this is bad stuff. You got to open these doors and fix yourself. If you're in your 60s, fix yourself, and you'll have some good years left. If you don't, you know where you're going. You expect your skin to explode. You've been suppressing your lymph system. Now it's just you're opening the door, so expect to see your skin looking pretty gnarly. But when you open that door and you get your kidneys filtering and all this, it won't take long. It'll start clearing up and you'll be clear. But you're going to have to live with it. You can get all kinds of lotions. Well, I don't mean lotions, but if you're going to use, like, we have an Amish lotion, all food-based. Mary's God Scar's got some excellent lotions. I have my salves. I'd rub my heel oil salves on it, or get an antifungal salve, which we have an antifungal salve. And that'll help, but you're not looking for it to cure because you're in the process of elimination. You were in a process of suppression of your sewer system. Now you're in a process of elimination of your sewer system. There's a key difference. Now you can expect to have some symptoms. So what? Live through them and learn to fight another day. Live through them and get your body cleaned up and you'll be good. But don't if you have your sinuses full, what has to come out to have remedy? Mucus. Things don't just disappear inside your body and suddenly you're gone and cured. You're thinking medically. Ridiculous stuff. No. You're full of mucus and acids. There's only one way to get remedy. Get them out. Makes sense? That's the only way, because you can't live with it in there. It'll form tumors on you. Stuff like that. Not good. I have explained the optimal diet that he needs to work with, but he doesn't feel that he could do it and understands that it will be a longer process with being 100% raw. But you know what, man? You get in, you say, look, I'm enjoying a new world, a new life. I'm going to feel better. I can breathe, and I can start smelling on my own again. You know, simple things like good smelling. If you'll take a look, my friend, you're probably smelling by memory. So when you want to open those olfactories up, you got to get the mucus out. And to get the mucus out, you sort of got detoxing. And to get the detoxing, you got to start going alkalizing your body. To alkalize, you got to go to raw fruits, berries, and melons, and some salads if you want. But to really move lymph out quicker, you get the fruits and the berries and the melons. Have worked through a number of formulas, not all at once, but this is what he has taken so far. Kidneys, this is quite long. Quite long. What's the bottom line to this? Positive improvements, all pain and top of spine gone, sinus improved dramatically. This is good stuff. Going through spring in only a couple of days with some symptoms, previous years, extreme pain and discomfort. Well, he's doing good. Doing good. So, man, you keep going, man. You keep going till you're so good you can't stand yourself. Isn't that better? You know, you just eat an islander diet for a little while. Isn't that better? You know, I mean, you can go back and have your dead animals and your crap later. But get this done, and you're done. See? Arthritis pain, practically gone, although he is cautious with this as he has not been doing a lot of activity, but regular body pains from arthritis have gone. Excellent. Get the fungus out and the uric acid will go down too. Physically, his skin is such a bad way. Well, you know what? You want to use hot and cold salt baths. Give him salt baths. Warm salt baths, or if you're by an ocean, go swimming a lot. But get some salt water in there, and that'll help relieve the skin and itching in the skin. Although at 12 weeks, I really hoped that there would be improvement. Get salt water. Get into bathing in salt water and be helpful. But his skin is still bearing the burden. That means under the dermis and epidermis, you have subcutaneous toxicity majorly. That means, of course, to have arthritis, to have acidosis systemically, you have to have your lymph system down systemically, right? Right. You have to live through this because you chose to treat yourself Now you're now understanding why you shouldn't have. Now you have to go back and fix it. And yeah, your skin's going to look a little gnarly, but do some salt baths and it'll help you immensely. To see family, friends, or anything else, well, he's got to work on himself. Don't be shy. Listen, reality's reality, and people need to see. You got skin problems. Why do I have skin problems? It gives you an opportunity to tell them why and what they're eating that can cause them skin problems. You see what I'm saying? Don't be ashamed of your problems. You know how to fix them now. Now tell the world and show the world. This is what happens when I eat wrong, and show them then when you clean yourself up. And you will. You'll get there. All right. I am guessing that his body is purging this lymph through the skin as removal of his tonsils. You hit it right on. Hugs from Melbourne, Australia. Robin, I love you guys. I got to run or I'm going to get killed. I can't pass this up. Forgive me. You guys are so great. I love it when you send me this stuff. I heard this too the other night on the news. Biological bad luck blamed in 2/3 of cancer cases. Biological bad luck. Cliff sent this into us. Biological bad luck. Holy crap. You see why we can't live in that world anymore? There's no coming together. That world has to wake up, because you have to realize there's no biological mistakes. This is all cause and effect. Whatever you do, you're creating cause, and there's going to be effect. I don't care what it is. If I do like that, I put cause out there, I've got a bounce back of energy to me. Cause and effect. And there is no biological mistakes. There is no mistakes in the world of God and the Creator. Take a look around. Do you think there's mistakes? No. Just because we're unaware of whys and what we're doing that's oxymoron to the laws of nature, learn the laws of nature and learn what species your physical body belongs to and who you really are, and you'll be soaring with God consciousness. I love you all, and thank you so much for your great comments and hanging in there with us when our YouTube gets shut down and stuff like that. You know what? We are together to fight the fight, and get yourselves well. From probably you, like the man that's suffering, hang in there and dig deeper. Dig deeper, because if you live at a certain level of diet, you can hold these symptoms for weeks and weeks. You've got to dig deeper. When you have skin problems like this and they're still there, they won't go away, you're holding yourself there. Dig deeper. Get rid of the vegetables, go deeper with the fruit, and get into some salt water. All right? We'll see you later, guys. Next video.